When a child dies, there's a tendency to focus on their death. And one of the things that we wanted to do is focus on life. And Seth's life was about helping people.
He would help with anything. He would jump in and do projects with us. He loved art, and he did a lot with drawing, and he loved telling stories. And Seth was always good at finding people who didn't have anybody else. And so he was always an encourager. Always tried to just find someone who needed a friend, and he would be their friend.
And it didn't matter their age. They could be his peers, younger, older. He always took time to find people. You know, you couldn't go very far without finding Seth talking about his faith, making people laugh, just being a light to the world around him. They had found a mass on his brain. And we did not know at that point what that was. We were looking at 6 months to a year at best.
The team that I work with was great here, so they backed me up so that I could spend as much time with Seth as possible. I still had to go into work and do stuff, you know, but we got as much quality time as we could.
I don't know when he figured it out. I know he figured it out somewhere along the way that he was dying. And I specifically remember him saying, "I feel good, Dad."
I feel good, Daddy.
Yeah. And, but as we pulled into the Texas Oncology parking lot, something changed real quickly. He started vomiting, and then a seizure started. That seizure never stopped. Dr. Murray said, "We're gonna get the seizures under control and we're gonna send you home to hospice." Because there's really nothing else. I mean, the radiation was not doing anything. And I could tell. I could tell in that moment that things were not good. So I leaned over to Seth and I whispered in his ear and I said, "Seth, we will be okay. You can go." And about a half hour later, the doctor came in and told us that they did not expect him to wake up from that. So I went to get Chad and the boys, and we gathered around his bed. And we talked, and I think we even laughed a little. Yeah. We cried a lot. We just said goodbye.
And for me, going back to work too, and just feeling, God, how can I keep doing this? I know you've called me to do this, but how can I do this when I don't have the energy and I don't have the strength to do it? If it weren't for faith, I couldn't do it, because he's what got me back to what he needed me to be doing. And as hard as our story is, he's given us opportunities to connect to people in ways that I never could have dreamed of.
You know, the hardest parts have been the picking up and doing it again. Doing what we love to do as a family, together as a family. And not stopping the living.
So a good friend of mine in Colorado that I had worked with, his brother was living in Fort Worth. And so when they found out that we were there at Cook's with Seth, he called us up and said, "Hey, what can we do for you? Anything." Come to find out, they are, I think they own it, I guess? Or they're
the president type
of
people.
this group, a nonprofit called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And what they do is they build bunk beds for kids who don't have a bed. I had the first sergeants come to me and said, "Hey, we want to do something in memory of Seth." They said, "Hey, do you have a charitable organization?" We said, "Well, we know these people. They helped us through the hospital visit, and they build beds." And they said, "Hey, let's do it. Let's raise some money and let's do a bed build." You know, Seth had just turned 13 when he was diagnosed, and so we're like, "Hey, let's build 13 bunk beds and be able to deliver them to kids in the Abilene community."
Did you get up there? Easy breezy, right?
Not only do we have a family that just does everything together, we've got a huge Air Force family that just God put in our lives to carry us through. Yeah, we went through some pretty rough stuff, but when you got people around you who love you and a God who loves you, you can get through it too.